to the Lindsay Beckham Show. We are live here in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of
Happy
Mississippi
Thursday,
studios.
everyone. Welcome
in
into the
good old
Lindsay Beckham
Flora,
Show.
Mississippi.
We are live here in
And
the
we
Men's
are
Health and
joined
Women's
today
Wellness of
by one of our
Mississippi
favorite people,
studios.
Well, thank you.
a
Good old
sponsor
Flora,
of
Mississippi.
the Lindsay Beckham Show,
And we are
Miss Darla
joined
Brown,
today
who is
by one
with
of our favorite
Americans
people.
for
Well, thank you.
Prosperity. She's the state
A
director
sponsor
here
of
in
the Lindsay Beckham
Mississippi.
Show.
So
Miss
she
Darla
is the
Brown,
policy
who is with
expert
Americans
on
for
good
Prosperity.
policy.
She's
Yeah,
the state
Anything
good
that's
director
policy,
here.
yeah.
So
in
I don't
that
know if
mic
I'm the
might
expert, but
pull that
She
mic
is
closer
the
to you.
policy
There you go.
expert.
doing good now. Is that
on
better?
Yeah,
good
that's better.
policy.
Okay, yeah. So I
Anything
don't know if I'm always the
yeah.
expert,
I
but
don't know if I'm the
certainly at
expert,
America's
but
Prosperity, I have an amazing team of people working for us in our advocacy, and because have a footprint in all 50 states and are working on policy across the line, we're able to learn a lot from things that happen in other states as well as here, and what makes sense. And so we rolled out, at the beginning of session, our 601 blueprint.
I was about to say, you have a blueprint this year. I'm
Right.
excited about that.
Yeah, well, we had it last year, but we've enhanced it this year, and we've taken on a few more areas. We're looking at some things like energy policy and artificial intelligence, AI, and taking an approach with energy where we want not only at the state level but on the national level, making sure that we're not passing policies that create barriers for affordable and abundant energy, right? And so we first and foremost, we want it to be affordable to the consumer.
Absolutely.
Right.
I'm on board with that.
You're on board for that, right? And then, and then just ensuring that the barriers, and one of the things that we've been working on is this permitting reform at the federal level that we want to see go through, because it's just taking too long for things to happen, and there's too many barriers that get put up. And so, when we have abundance of energy, that impacts the affordability piece. And so we want to make sure that we're working on that. And so we also want to see in the state level, we want to make sure that any energy policy that happens here doesn't impact ratepayers, for example, right?
Mhm.
Because energy is not just when we talk about oil and gas, but it's also talking about your electricity in your home. And unfortunately, sadly, and my heart goes out to a lot of people. I was just talking to Nathan on our team on the way down who are without electricity and water and many other things. And we're going to have some pretty low temperatures again this weekend. So for all of our activist friends, neighbors, every Mississippian, our heart goes out to what our state is seeing. We're it's been a very, very big disaster for the state.
Yeah, we were just talking about
northern half, right?
We were just talking about this event in Oxford that's been postponed.
Yeah.
Oxford got the brunt of it.
Yeah, they did. I was, and so if Nathan can listen and is listening, we hope your power and water are on soon. And
yes, I forget that he's over there.
Yeah. So anyway, we have a lot of activists there. A lot of our volunteers are based in that community, and so we've been able to be in touch with some, but slowly but surely. But the slowly part is unfortunately the damage was just so great. So, but we appreciate the governor getting out there with his team and working on it. And as Brad White with MDOT said yesterday, you can't plow ice. And so
poor Tate, COVID, and he's just had every natural disaster, I feel like.
Yeah. But anyway, they're out in the community and they're out and about, and we appreciate the efforts happening here in our local area with Andy Gibson. He's been collecting stuff out at the fairground and getting up because there are a lot of people in the shelter in place, and people in hotels, people who left. It's just a lot of things. So anyway, we will Mississippi's resilient. We will be put back together. It's just going to take a while. This was a big storm. So
I always forget how damaging ice can actually be.
Yeah,
you don't think about it until it happens.
Yeah. So I'm not complaining about the cold days and the little bit of ice I had on some trees here, because it was nothing compared to what you see in the rest of the state. So
yeah, absolutely.
So
we were very fortunate.
Very fortunate. So anyway, but on energy, we're watching some different bills there, and trying to stop the things that don't favor the ratepayer, or I should say, are disadvantage them, right? I think what a lot of people don't realize when it comes to energy policy and that electrical piece is that electrical companies and whatever, they make a lot of money off of building things and building and creating new things. And so we're fortunate here in our state, our public service commissioners are elected officials.
Yes. I was going to say, I take all my questions straight to Chris because I know he'll know how to explain it to me.
Right. And so, that's not the case in every state in the country. Sometimes they're appointed. And so here they're elected. And I encourage people to, watch the things that they're doing and keep up with them, because a lot of the work they're doing is really good, and they do come and present to the legislators. There are a lot of things that they have authority on, and so you can vote for them at the ballot box.
We have 3, right?
We have 3, and I think right now most of what I've seen this year has been a good job coming out of our public service commissioner.
I think we really do have 3 pretty great ones.
Yeah, so I think we're so far we're seeing some good things coming out of that. And what's the future of energy going to look like, right? And so nuclear is certainly a lot of things that they've been looking at and working on. And so there's some bright spots over there. As you know, we have a couple of other bills that we kind of were talking about the other day, but I do want to bring them up. And one is Senate Bill 2646. It's what's commonly referred to as a RAINS Act. We certainly have already passed these in other states, and we're looking at other additional states this year that are coming on board. But one of the things it does is it really sort of moves power back to the legislator for some oversight of these unelected bureaucrats in agencies that are out there. And so Senator Seymour has sponsored a bill, and we are supporting it. And
so y'all put that out this morning, or was that yesterday?
Yeah, it was a couple of days ago. We put some,
it.
And it's overwhelmingly our grassroots activists who've responded on to the information that we've put out initially has been really high in support. And we hope to continue to see that. Obviously, we're coming up on a bill deadline date, but we'd love to have the committee hear the bill so we can discuss it further, tweak it, do whatever we need to do. But there should not be rules that are put together, especially when they have economic impact on us as the taxpayer. So this type of legislation protects the taxpayer, but it also protects unnecessary rules that would impact us, and whether it's our daily life or it's our pocketbooks, right?
Less government's always better.
Yes, less government's always better. So this would put the oversight back into the legislator by being notified about these bills and having economic impact statements and things delivered to them in advance. And I'll be writing to the governor today to hopefully not him. I know he personally is out there doing what he needs to be doing, but writing to his staff today to talk a little bit more about the bill and hope that they'll be on board with it as well. But at the end of the day, we believe that this notification is necessary to be watching, because I think most of us, when we go to the polls and we elect someone to represent us at the state level, whether it's House or Senate, we're not electing an agency and what we call the face of these a bureaucrat that's unelected, they're faceless people we don't know. And so we want to put that power back into the hands of those people that people have put in office and respect and want to have that oversight. So
absolutely, that's how you give the people the power, right? Is when you let the people that they vote in make the decisions instead of it coming from the top down. Exactly. And then we have another I say small bill, but I think an impactful bill. It's a bill that is in the House. It's already made it to the calendar, so we hope there'll be some discussion on it on the floor in the coming days. But it's about something called portable benefits. So as you know, we have a workforce in Mississippi, not in every city, not in every, certainly not out in rural areas, but we have a workforce. Well, I guess it depends on, what that looks like. But for the most part, in some of our metropolitan areas, we have a lot of people who work as independent contractors with flexible work, right? And so whether people do that with 2 or 3 different hiring partners, or they, like Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Uber Eats, all of these different kind of gig economy things that are common to us. Those are just some of the people that can be a hiring partner, but it can actually be a hairstylist. It can be someone in the construction industry. It could be someone in real estate who doesn't have actual benefit packages as part of being an independent contractor, but likes flexible work, right? So these people, the way we work has changed. A lot of us work from home now. COVID changed a lot.
COVID changed a lot of that. But flexible workers want that ability. For a lot of these people, that job could just be supplemental income, right? And so they want to be able to work the hours and around things that they do. And so so it's very important, in that scenario for independent contractors. So what this does is it sets up an account that can be used for a handful of things that are talked about in the bill itself, but it's all voluntary. No one has to participate. No hiring partner has to participate, nor does an independent contractor. But if they wanted to, and they wanted to make an offering, these accounts oversight would be by the actual worker and, the independent contractor who's taken on a contract with this hiring partner. The hiring partner can put money into the account, and you yourself could save in there and put money as well, but you have the oversight on the purchases as the hiring partner. This account follows them no matter what. So let's say you're working with one independent contractor, maybe working in a hair salon, and you decide, hey, I want to change. Like, I want to specialize in something and go over here and rent my chair from another place. That money follows you. It doesn't stay there. It follows the individual worker who, is an independent contractor. The nice part about it is you can take some of those monies and you can use it for things like, you can there are people out there who could help you find a health insurance policy, and then it could be paid out of that account. You could just simply save it. It could just be a savings towards retirement for you, because maybe you're not offered any type of retirement.
A lot of people don't think about that
benefit. You may already be on your spouse's health plan, but there's no retirement plan for you. And or you could just save it for cash emergencies, right? Or it could be for paid time off. If you're an independent contractor and you decide that you're doing well and you decide to take a vacation, you could pay yourself back out of for that week as paid time off. So there's multiple things it can be used for. The most important thing is it does not change the laws around flexible work, which people want. I talk to the people because I use the gig economy. I would use it daily. Some weeks I do. I use it for a number of things. But what I do know is the people coming to my door when I have this conversation with them, or the people who are out there that I've talked to in the industry, they want that flexible work. They want to be able to do this, whether they're supplementing their income. I've had people tell me, "Oh, I work for 3 different hiring partners," and in the delivery service type industry. And if they could have, if all 3 of them signed on, they could have, they may have money that could be deposited for all 3 of it. It's all voluntary, but it gives people an opportunity to maintain that flexible work status, maintain their status as an independent contractor, and be able to have some benefits. So we think it's a really good bill.
It sounds like it. I know a lot of people don't think about how they're going to survive once they retire, and they haven't been there's not enough taken out, or there's not an employer that matches that. And so then when they retire, they have no Social Security, and it's like, oh, wait, what do I do? And they end up in panic mode because they haven't thought that far ahead.
Right. And the nice thing is it follows you no matter where you go. That's a really important key piece of this, involuntary. So we hope that that'll get passed out of the House and over to the Senate, and we hope that the Senate will take it up over there, and we can do something good for these individuals in our state who are working there. Which it's not an industry that is without people utilizing and working in it today as we speak. So
yes, absolutely. And then hold that thought, Starla. Okay. Let's take a break.
Yeah,
I know there's lots of other things that I'm sure your eyes are crossing from reading all the legislation.
Yes, the bills.
I know mine are. But we're going to take a break. We get back. I want you to discuss some of the other things that you guys are supporting and what we hope to see out of this legislative session.
Absolutely.
Y'all stay with us. We will be right back here on the Lindsay Beckham Show, WIB 103.9. We will be right back here on the Lindsay Beckham Show, WIB 103.9.
103.9 WYAB.
Pure Air Consultants offers services on your heating and cooling system. It's time to get your heating system serviced. We offer replacement, service, maintenance agreements. It's important because if you have a gas heating system, it can produce carbon monoxide. So you want to make sure you have your system serviced and cleaned to protect your family. You want to make sure your system is safe to run. You can find us at our website at mypureairconsultants.com, mypureairconsultants.com.
Get ready, Louisiana! Johnny's Pizza House is turning up the heat with our Sweet the Swamp Pizza. Packed with crawfish, shrimp, a taste of crab, andouille sausage, bell peppers, onions, jalapenos, and a blend of Cajun spices, all smothered in delicious mozzarella cheese. It's the perfect bite of the bayou and the perfect meal for any Cajun crave. Try our Cajun Flint or dive into a Sweet the Swamp Pizza Bowl. A taste of Louisiana flavor is waiting on you. Let's share a slice today at Johnny's Pizza House.
Americans for Prosperity is Mississippi's and the country's leading grassroots organization dedicated to promoting economic freedom and personal liberty. Americans for Prosperity advocates for limited government, free market policies, and empowering individuals. When given freedom and opportunity, Americans are capable of extraordinary things. If you are ready to make a difference in our community and want to get involved, then visit americansforprosperity.org. Be a part of positive change at americansforprosperity.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
Broad Street King Cakes, pass that plate. Broad Street King Cakes taste so great. From Jackson Town to every state, bestkingcake.com, don't wait. Lines out the doorway, laughter in the air, hidden little baby waiting in there somewhere. From now till Mardi Gras, you know where to be. Or click that link and make your kitchen Bourbon Street. Broad Street King Cakes, pass that plate. Broad Street King Cakes taste so great. From Jackson Town to every state, bestkingcake.com, don't wait.
At Lakeshore Church, we believe the liberation of the soul is found only in Christ. Hello, I'm Jay Frazier, Senior Pastor at Lakeshore, inviting you to come and worship with us this week. We believe in the three-cross concept of ministry: the cross of salvation, the cross of separation, and the cross of service, and we believe all of these crosses should be evident in our lives. We're at 6880 South Sidewell Road in Byram. For more information about the ministries, activities, and times of service, go to lakeshorecmc.org.
And be sure to listen to Lakeshore Church's weekly program, heard Sunday mornings at 8 on 103.9 WYAB.
Even with interest rates higher than recent norms, real estate values are still holding strong in Mississippi. We caught up again with one of Mississippi's top real estate agents, Shane Saxton, to explain his recent activity in the market.
In the last year or so, it's been the best of my career. Interest rates have been high, but the real estate market is here to stay. Land values especially are continuing to rise. Home values are holding. If you need help with anything in real estate, just give me a call.
Find Shane Saxton on Facebook or give him a call at 601-540-5040. Hopper Property, 601-724-1435.
At Flora Animal Hospital, our team doesn't just take care of your pet's needs. We feel like it starts with the pet parents. If the pet parent is informed thoroughly and understands the situation with the animal and why certain things need to be done or certain medications need to be given, it's easier to get that done. Our website is floraanimalhospital.com. It'll take you straight to the online store where your medicine can be purchased, food can be purchased, prescription or non-prescription, and they will be shipped straight to your front door. floraanimalhospital.com.
Come together.
Welcome back to the Lindsay Beckham Show. We are coming to you live from the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. And we are joined by my good friend and yours, Miss Starla Brown. She is the State Director of Americans for Prosperity right here in Mississippi. If you ever want to get involved in the grassroots movement, she is your girl. Starla, our friends, our Moms for Liberty, Iowa friends had a gubernatorial, I can never say it right, gubernatorial debate with the candidates who are running for governor.
Oh, wow.
And Americans for Prosperity helped host it. So it was Moms for Liberty was kind of the brains behind it, but then AFP in Iowa came in and helped out. So I was like, look, they have connections over there, friends over there, like we are here.
Oh, wonderful. That's good. That's good to hear. Yeah. Look, we value partnerships with people all across the country, whether it's national organizations, local organizations, statewide organizations. I think people, when they come together around a fantastic piece of policy that's transformative, that improves the lives of other people and improves the state of Mississippi. We want to partner with those individuals who do that. And our coalition partners are really incredibly important to us. Because I think when we're all working together towards a good common goal, that's where we can see amazing strength and possibilities. And so each of us have different comparative advantages to add to that. But I think that's been great. We've seen that a lot, obviously, in education this year. We've Moms for Liberty has certainly worked on that, right? That's been a premier piece of policy for you guys for a long time.
Yes.
So let me just get to a couple other things, and then we'll focus in a little bit more on education. So we're still pursuing certificate of need laws. There was a bill last year that was kind of a bill that took a really good bill and kind of changed it up and did some things, some of which we supported, some we did not. But it has now moved through very quickly through the House and through the Senate and is enrolled and ready to head to the governor's desk. The one important thing that it will do in certificate of need laws, and for those who are not familiar with what a certificate of need law is, it's basically a permission slip from the governor to open new or add to existing healthcare things, from facilities to hospitals.
It's a bunch of red tape is what it is.
It's really a permission slip, because if you want to do it and they say no and they don't grant you the certificate of need, you can't open your doors, or you can't add that piece of equipment, or so
you can't be open within so many miles of another place.
There's all kinds of things, and unfortunately what happens in this that is also bad is that your opposition, if you will, or your competition, can come in and oppose the granting of a certificate of need law. And we've seen that in our state. We've seen, it drives up the cost of healthcare. Every president, literally from Reagan to now Trump again, including Biden in between, have said that these laws really should be negated and gone away. So we're hoping to get rid of, we have, like 19, I think it's 19 categories, but almost near 80 different subcategories, if you will, within there that we'd like to see all of them gone.
Listen, Hob Brian, it's time. It's time.
So, well, I'm encouraged. He was in committee this week. He was a little, he helped get this bill across, which has some triggers in it for what triggers the actual application, and those things have doubled, and that's a good piece of the bill. At least, like, we're looking at the fact that those numbers were very antiquated. But there are some other bills coming, and we hope that the House and Senate can work together on this year, and we can get a few of those out. One, particularly for us, mental health, substance abuse facilities, things like dialysis centers or renal facilities. Those have been things that we've looked at. We've looked at birthing Senate's facilities as well, centers. And I just feel like there's a lot that we could do there. And look, we'll start with a few, and hopefully we can eventually just get it all done. I know there is a bill out. I believe Senator Hill actually has a complete bill that's out there. Whether that will have traction or not, I don't know. But in the past, many of our legislators have voted to repeal these, and we hope their continued support will be there.
Give the people more options.
Yeah, let's give people more options. Let's open up the free market, and let's see what we can do to drive the cost of healthcare down, not up, in our state. So we're excited to see some movement on that. We've been working on it for a few years now, and so we're excited to see some hopefully some positive things happen there. And then obviously in education, if you looked at our 601 blueprint, there's two areas of education policy that are very important to us. One is education savings account, and the other is
never heard of those.
Yeah, I think I've heard you talking about it just a little bit, just a couple of times. And then obviously what we call open enrollment in the policy world, but not to confuse that with insurance. It is the public to public transfers.
Sometimes portability,
right? Yeah, you hear portability, public to public transfers, but it's the opportunity for a child to transfer from one with capacity on the receiving end and acceptance, people transfer for many different reasons. The programs can be anywhere from special needs to just a particular curriculum that would help a student who's knows what they want to do when they graduate.
Or in my case, get your kid away from a particular curriculum that you're not a fan of.
Right, or something like
but
that.
Parents being able to decide.
Absolutely. Your values and principles matter as parents, and parents know best. We believe that firmly, that they know best what's right for their kids and what they want to do there. So, we've had an issue about the sending school being able to veto that. So, we want to see that removed, but we also want to make sure there's some other things here around tuition that we are not supportive of. And so, we'd like to be able to see that part of that piece of legislation discussed a little bit further. We don't think people should have to pay a price to do that, because for a lot of people, depending on their circumstances, it might not be something that is feasible, but we just don't think that it's necessary. So that's one piece. But then education savings accounts. Now, I know that the opposition, we can beat the horse to death about why we support House Bill 2 and why we've been behind it, those kind of things. I think for me at this point, the difficulty that I've had has been the narrative that we see from opposition. And one of the things that's always really bothered me is the word voucher. I hear it sometimes among legislators. I hear it especially from the opposition, and I've heard it for a number of years now. And apparently it's been longer than I've been back home. But the thing is, we're not actually. So when they say we don't advocate for a voucher, I'm like, great, we don't either, because we're advocating for education savings account. And I think that that's something that's really important for people to realize how these can be utilized and what they represent for families. And so, using the term voucher is a negative term to us. And we wish that people would start really talking about education savings account and understanding the difference between that flexibility, because they can be used for a number of things. Like they can be used for a tutor. They could, all of the language that can be in there in an education savings account can be used for multiple things. It's not just a school. It's not just funds to go to another school. Like it's not just about that. And whereas a voucher is like, here's some money, go to another, go from public to private. And that's not what this is necessarily about, because there's a lot more flexibility in it and how parents could choose to use it. And so I think that that's really important. The other term that bothers me a lot is this notion of public money. So the last time I checked, at any level of government, they do not produce funds. Funds come from taxpayers. And all of us, regardless of whether we own property, don't own property, whether we, have a vehicle, whether we don't have a vehicle, whether we go to the grocery store, whatever we do, whether we purchase gasoline, whether we do whatever, there are, when you pay a fee to get your driver's license, you pay a fee to do this or do that. Businesses certainly pay their fair share of tax. Right. Everything is a tax, because anything that the government collects from you as a private citizen out of your personal hard-earned money,
it's theft.
Well, that would be the Bastiat way, right? Taxation is theft. I'm good to say that, but it is taxpayer dollars, right? And so parents are simply asking for that appropriated money that is in our funding formula that goes toward the education of a child to have some say in what that education looks like. And I don't think that that's an unreasonable thing for anyone to consider. So I hear over and over, public money should not go to this school, or public money, and that's usually public to private that we hear the most of this, that it should not be used for anything else. Well, I think it's up to the parents, because that money is allotted. It is there. I struggle with that, because I struggle with that term public money. It's taxpayer dollars. We need to start talking about it in terms of taxpayer dollars. Now, if you don't want to use your taxpayer dollars to go anywhere else but the wonderful and lovely public school that you have and you support in your community, that's fine.
If you're fortunate enough to have,
if you are,
but
why would you take the opportunity away from a parent out there whose family may look just like your family, may be in the same income bracket, may have the same, just have a different set of needs, or maybe within your family you have more than one child, and one child is doing great in the public school and the other isn't. And the
they're all so different.
Yeah, they're all so
Trust me.
Yeah,
I know.
Right. I mean, my own personal story, which I'm going to share when we have the event with Mississippi Center for Public Policy,
which is February 10th, by the way, River
February
Hills
10th.
Country Club in Jackson. There's still tickets available.
Yeah. And I'm going to share part of my personal story because my brother and I were very different. We were very different. And there was a need. And so I think for me, like, it comes down to this. Are you a parent out there with children who doesn't support it? The other thing is the poll that came out yesterday that I saw and we certainly shared about how citizens and voters see this issue. And I'm going to say this, I'm a person who deals in data. Our organization deals in data. We, don't just go on social media and say like, oh, wow, a bunch of people are saying this or that because, and so I can tell you that in terms of data, we are definitely seeing whether it's at the doors, whether it's on the phone calls that we're making to people, and we've been only at times discussing only education savings accounts. So I want to be really clear on that. Like, education freedom is a lot of things, and we think more opportunity and choice is a great way to go. But as far as how we've approached some of that, we've been only discussing, one of our priorities, which is an education savings account. And the interesting thing that we've seen across the line, I do not doubt that polling that came out yesterday is accurate.
Let's take a break. When we get back, share with us what that polling showed. And I know there's several different polls out there. They all kind of align and share a little bit of the same thing, but I want you to tell the listeners exactly what came out yesterday and what that means. So we'll be right back. Y'all stay with us. There's much more to discuss about what we hope to see this legislative session here with Starla Brown, the director of Mississippi's Americans for Prosperity. We will be right back. Of Mississippi's Americans for Prosperity. We will be right back.
Keep it tuned here to 103.9 WYAB.
Pure Air Consultants offers services on your heating and cooling system. It's time to get your heating system serviced. We offer replacement, service, maintenance agreements. It's important because if you have a gas heating system, it can produce carbon monoxide. So you want to make sure you have your system serviced and cleaned to protect your family. You want to make sure your system is safe to run. You can find us at our website at mypureairconsultants.com, mypureairconsultants.com.
Get ready, Louisiana! Johnny's Pizza House is turning up the heat with our sweet the swamp pizza. Packed with crawfish, shrimp, a taste of crab, andouille sausage, bell peppers, onions, jalapenos, and a blend of Cajun spices, all smothered in delicious mozzarella cheese. It's the perfect bite of the bayou and the perfect meal for any Cajun crave. Try our Cajun flip or dive into a sweet the swamp pizza bowl. A taste of Louisiana flavor is waiting on you. Let's share a slice today at Johnny's Pizza House.
Americans for Prosperity is Mississippi's and the country's leading grassroots organization dedicated to promoting economic freedom and personal liberty. Americans for Prosperity advocates for limited government, free market policies, and empowering individuals. When given freedom and opportunity, Americans are capable of extraordinary things. If you are ready to make a difference in our community and want to get involved, then visit americansforprosperity.org. Be a part of positive change at americansforprosperity.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
For over 15 years, A1 Gear and Auto has been your hometown specialist for your auto repair and maintenance needs. From brake repair to placement to radiators, engines, starters, alternators, heat, and AC water pumps, and more, A1 will get your vehicle back up and running and on the road and in a timely manner. A1 is one of the only shops in the metro that specializes in rear differentials, rear ends, and rings and pinions. Call today to set up an appointment, or if you got questions, at 601-939-1060. A1 Gear and Auto, your hometown vehicle specialist.
A new year means a new you with a new ride from Mazda of Jackson with our extended super sale. Chart your new course in a 2025 CX-5 before they're gone. Price to move with 0.9% financing for 72 months with approved credit. And see why it's the compact crossover that's built for you. Plus, get 1 year maintenance included on your new vehicle purchase. It's time to make the resolution to choose Mazda today. Shop online at MazdaJackson.com or visit Mazda Jackson on I-55 Frontage Road.
When you feel like your business is drowning in paperwork and compliance issues, it's time to call Peoplease. Let Peoplease take care of the busy work so that you can save valuable time and focus on what really matters, growing your business. Peoplease is based in Ridgeland, so you're always dealing with local professionals who will actually understand your business and its needs. Join thousands of satisfied clients who trust Peoplease to simplify their employee administration. Visit peoplease.com. That's peoplease.com to learn more.
The Township Jazz Festival is on again this year, so make your plans for Saturday, April 11th to bring the family and make a day of it. This year, as always, they're keeping it free. 8 hours of phenomenal jazz talent at the Township on Highland Colony Parkway near Fusion Coffee House. Covered seating is provided, but lawn chairs and blankets are welcome. No tents, please. You can look for the info at townshipjazzfestival.com.
I'm speaking with Lee Bounds of Rapid Rate Mortgage. How does real estate agent Rita Jensen succeed when time is of the essence?
In today's market, it is so important to communicate and close on time. Typically have 30 days to close, get a home inspection, appraisal, title work, that kind of thing is a mortgage process. And a realtor relationship is so important. With a realtor like Rita Jensen with Remax Connection, she helps us to close on time.
RitaJensen.net.
Welcome back into the Lindsay Beckham Show. We are joined by State Director of Americans for Prosperity, Miss Starla Brown, who we adore over here at the Lindsay Beckham Show. But right before the break, we were talking about a poll that came out yesterday by the American Federation for Children, and it was a survey. And so this survey was conducted on January 12th through the 13th, and they found that 74% of likely Republican primary voters support the Mississippi Education Freedom Act, which is the bill with the ESAs that you were talking about. Only 15% oppose it. Support remains high among suburban voters as well, with 65% in favor, 26% opposed, according to the results that were released by the group. The poll also found that 70% of GOP primary voters would back a pro-school choice candidate for state office, compared to 15% who would support a candidate opposed to school choice. So, Starla, what do you think that those numbers mean? Also, they talked about even Trump Republicans. They said that Trump Republicans, 80% support, very conservative voters, 78% support.
So what I think is, if I look at every poll that I've seen in this state since 2023, I'm going to go back that far. If I look at the numbers that we've seen when we've been out in communities knocking on people's doors, and I don't want to add to that, people who are super voters, high propensity voters who are going to come out, you're not going to find them at all your political clubs. You're not going to find them in a lot of things. These are people that are living their lives, doing their day-to-day work. But
we're the weird ones that are in the weeds of it all. Normal people don't do that.
They're not us. But there are people who out there, people I've never met unless I meet them at the door, or we meet them on their phone, through surveys and conversations. I have not seen anything that's been below, in terms of 70% in terms of what we do. And what I've seen is over the last 2 years, I've seen growth. And it's higher and higher each time we look at the numbers. There were days that we were knocking doors this fall in Rankin County. And we would go to people's doors and we would, talk with them and have a survey. And we're there to collect their identification about where they stand on this. And literally, there were days when 90% or 100% of the people said, I absolutely support that. And
these are boots on the ground at Mississippi doors showing up, asking people.
This is not. And one of the things that we found is there were people out there who weren't aware of what an education savings account would be or what it looks like. And so I know we see a lot of chatter. I know our members get a lot because the opposition is loud, but I do believe that there is such a thing as this quiet majority of people out there who are paying attention, who do want this and have been communicated with. In terms of the phone calls we've conducted after the first of the year, and I'm going to be putting some of this data up later this week. I just want to say, like, the first day out of the gate that we were making phone calls, of the people, of the just under 100 people who took I think it was like 98
in Mississippi.
In Mississippi. I'm not calling elsewhere, calling this, in the state. And this is statewide, like, just, high propensity voters. 96 people were in favor of education
out of
savings.
100.
Well, it's out of 98.
Out of 98. Okay.
90. Sorry, it's a little bit more than that. So 96 people were in favor of an education savings account. 5 opposed that, and only 2 were unsure.
Darla, that's not only the data that we're seeing just from your organization and from this poll that came out yesterday, but also Ed Choice, Yes Every Kid.
Sure. The
polling that every single organization has done has pretty much shown us the same thing, even with Democrats being in favor.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think it's unfortunate that, we have this loud group of people. Sometimes it's the same loud people calling every single legislature because many of them don't even live in their district and that kind of thing. But I think at the end of the day, if people truly believe, because of what they see on social media or what the teachers union type organizations are pushing through in that narrative, all I know is the data that I know, and I don't see it. I see support. I believe it's out there, and I believe it would be ill of people not to understand that there are voters who don't communicate with their legislature,
right,
but they vote.
Probably most of them,
and they vote for things that matter to them. And so I think at the end of the day, that's something we all should be cognizant of. I know that I certainly will be as we look past session, but I think at the end of the day, the support is there. I don't think these polls are off. I just don't believe that. I know the naysayers are going to tell us,
but Starla, if we pass an ESA legislation, there's going to be a mass exodus from public school. It will be the end of public schools as we know it, right? The sky's going to fall.
It will not. And I think there's definitely data on that as well. Look, I think all of these myths versus truth type things, we've all talked about them immensely. We've gone over them and over them and over them. But I think at the end of the day, this is a principle that we should be behind, because we should care about these children and the families. There are stories after story of people out there who have a need, and there's people out there who are perfectly fine in their public school, and they will stay in their public school.
Right.
Many people do. So, you have to wonder, for the people who oppose, why do you oppose it? Why do you not care about that child and their education, in terms of them being able to get in the best learning environment that's right for them and that their parents believe is right?
And one thing I think everybody should pay attention to is that if we give a child the best education possible for them that fits their needs, that is only going to make our state stronger as a whole in the years to come.
Absolutely. Take your heartfelt wishes away from this and the families and their needs, and just look at the economic side of this.
Absolutely.
One of the things that companies look at when they come to a state is, is there an educated workforce? So are we going to leave kids in failing schools that could do better, that want to do better, and their family, and this other thing, I hear this all the time, and I hear from legislators, and really, I really struggle with this comment of, we'll just move to a better school district.
We already have school choice, they say.
Right. We already have school choice, because you can just move.
You can just move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I struggle with that, because, I come from a family who wasn't wealthy. My dad didn't even have electricity in his house till he was 16 years old. He did his homework by the fireplace right at night, or a kerosene lantern. And, I grew up hearing these stories and stuff like that. My family worked hard for each generation to do better, but there are people who are out there working several jobs. Even people in private schools are sometimes working 2 jobs, really struggling to just even keep their kids in an environment that they support, but they're still paying their taxes. And so I struggle with that, of like, just move, because not everybody has the means to do that. It's expensive to just pack up your home and move.
It's
expensive to go to another place where you may not be able to afford, that's a whole other topic on housing that we need to address here in the state as well. And that is something that we are looking at for down the road. But I would just say, it's really tough to come back with that comment. I feel like it's pretty callous.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we see the opposition be so loud, and it almost feels like at times that every single public school administrator or teacher is also against it. But this is also for them. This also helps them.
Right. That's part of the problem I can't understand. Now, look, I can't name names or share names because of this, but we have spoken with teachers in the public school system who do support this. But they're afraid to
afraid to speak out about it.
They're afraid to come forward.
They could lose their jobs.
Yeah, because they're afraid of retaliation.
And it happens.
And I know we're going to be talking a lot about teacher pay raises this session as well. But one of the things that I struggle with is the amount of money that we see statistically going to administrative roles,
superintendents,
and what's interesting is how, like, you have in a lot of schools you have less people attending, right? Less students, yet it seems like on the local level, every time they come together, there's a raise for that. I mean, there's some people I've been looking at their salaries. I've been looking at how much they make, and
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. And then, a superintendent whose wife also has a really wonderful $91,000 plus roll in their school district. And, and that's as of 2024, could be more. I don't know. But I also see, like, so much money going into and administrative roles that I don't even know what the title would be or what they do, but we seem to be really top heavy there.
Absolutely.
When we need this money to be in the classroom with our teachers. We have a shortage. We have all these things and we keep talking about it. But and I know no one wants to hear consolidate a school district, especially the
absolutely needs to happen here.
But we are in some counties where we have, like, a county seat that's a town of, I don't know, let's say 5,000 people. It's somewhere in that average, and you've got a superintendent there, and you've got a superintendent for the county.
And you got to think each county. If a county has 3 different school districts within it, then that's a school board for each one of those districts, superintendents and assistant superintendents for each of those districts, all the principals. It goes on and on.
Yeah. And so I have to wonder, because certainly there are other states that can do it more efficiently.
Look at Florida.
Yeah, that's true. Almost 10 times the population, and can do it more efficiently
with less school districts than we have, and they're always the top of education.
Yeah, so I think that's a problem. No one wants to talk about it. I'm not afraid to talk about it. I know you're not either, but I'm not afraid to talk about it because it is a problem, and it's something we need to address. I can quickly take a calculator out and say, like, hey, if we only had this and this, and I can find millions of dollars right there, but no one wants to talk about it. I know it's uncomfortable conversation, but at the end of the day, if you're just about the money,
then you shouldn't be in education.
Yeah, you have to be about the child. And we have to understand that parents know best. We have to also realize our public schools will not just go away and not be there anymore.
Sky's not going to fall,
but if you've been an F-rated school for 10 years and taken over by the state on multiple occasions, and then go back to being an F-rated school, and we've slipped some. We have slipped some in the last data that's come out. But if that's what you are, I don't know. Maybe we have to have, like, a real,
there's some other problems.
And
where's the money going?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of being sarcastic when I posted something about indictments of school superintendents who were, there's some corruption, people have put money in their own pockets out of the, whether federal, I think some of it's the federal dollars for sure, but it's kind of interesting. These are the same people who are saying, oh, no public money should go anywhere else.
Exactly. Well, we got to take our last break, Sarla. Stay with us. I'm gonna let you tell everybody where to find you when we get back. Okay. We'll be right back here on the Lindsay Beckham Show. We'll be right back here on the Lindsay Beckham Show.
.1039 WYAB.
Health has always been reactive, focused on fixing problems as they happen. But with Blue Primary Care, we're taking a proactive approach. working with you to help you understand your health and empowering you to be healthy. It's time to prioritize you, your health, and your life. The results? Less worrying and more living. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue.
Burgers, blues, barbecue, the name says it all. At our spots in Madison, downtown Brandon, and Flowood at Dogwood, dive into mouth-watering, award-winning burgers and barbecue like our tender brisket and savory pulled pork that'll have you licking your fingers clean. Our B3 Catering Company can handle any job from 5 to 5,000 people, and with 2 food trucks ready for all your special events. Check out the all-new burgersblues.com to view our full menu, order carryout, and delivery by locally owned Take a Break deliveries.
Looking to elevate your ride? Weston Automotive and Rick's Pro Truck have you covered. From rugged bumpers to sleek step bars, Weston's top-notch accessories will transform your truck into a head-turner. And at Rick's Pro Truck, we specialize in custom installations that bring your vision to life. Visit us today for expert advice and unbeatable deals. Weston Automotive and Rick's Pro Truck, where your truck's potential comes alive. Weston and RPT. Trucks live here.
Ladies, tired of running on empty, sleepless nights, mood swings, stubborn weight, skin that has lost its glow? It is not just getting older. It is your body begging for help. Hey, y'all, I'm Morgan at Women's Wellness in Mississippi. At Women's Wellness in Mississippi, we bring it all together. Hormone therapy, medical weight loss, and the latest, greatest aesthetic treatments like facials, lasers, Botox, and so much more. This is where wellness and beauty meet so that you can feel amazing inside and out. At Women's Wellness in Mississippi, the best version of you is waiting right around the corner.
Hello, friends and neighbors. This is David Frederick. I'm here to tell you about the latest development here at Frederick Sales and Service in Brandon. In an effort to always bring you the very best brands, I am proud to announce that Frederick Sales and Service is Central Mississippi's newest dealer for Skag zero-turn mowers and products. We have deals on one of the industry's best brands of zero-turn mowers, Skag. You can buy now and pay later because 0% financing is also available at Frederick's. Come see our inventory. We're here serving you for over 3 decades in Brandon since 1993.
Why should you choose Ceramic Air Conditioning and Heating for all service or installation? Well, they purchase all parts directly from the manufacturer. All of their factory-trained technicians have been hand-selected for skill, work ethic, and experience. There are never any hidden fees or charges. Ceramic Air Conditioning and Heating is dedicated to your complete satisfaction, and they're family-owned and operated. For residential and commercial service or installation, contact Ceramic Air Conditioning and Heating, 601-317-0729, or make an appointment through their Facebook page.
Grizz Nation, get to FedEx Forum in Memphis for a Saturday night showdown between your Memphis Grizzlies and the Minnesota Timberwolves on January 31st at 7 p.m. And arrive early with the first 5,000 fans through the door receiving a Classic Edition Super Grizz Squish toy. Grab your tickets today at grizzlies.com/tickets or at the FedEx Forum box office in Memphis.
Need to ship something fast, print something now, or wrap the perfect gift? Head to the Mailroom Gluckstadt, your one-stop shop for all major shipping carriers. We pack and ship with care, offer private mailbox rentals, copy services, create and print banners, print your photos, lamination, binding, and secure document shredding. We always have a notary available, and we do gift wrapping too. Head to the Mailroom Gluckstadt across from Callaway's or online at mailroomgluckstadt.com. Stop in today and get it all done in one place.
Come together.
We are back here on the Lindsay Beckham Show. We have just about 30 seconds left, Starla. I know it goes by so fast.
Yeah.
Tell everybody where they can find you, what they can do.
So on Facebook, it's Americans for Prosperity-Mississippi. You can go to our website, ms.americansforprosperity.org. You can actually see a copy of our 601 blueprint there and download it if you'd like to print it out as well in a PDF file and the things we're working on and some of our points of view. We're on X at AFP_MS. We just hope you'll follow us. We hope you'll join us. And
great policy, great policy.
And take one small step, which is a campaign we're doing this year.
Yes, absolutely.
For advocacy, right?
Absolutely. Thank y'all. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. See you then.